think the first thing we're going to touch base on, Lydia, is we're going to go over creator economy. So I know 2026, there has been some big shifts in regards to TikTok Shop as a whole, a bit more saturated over workplace as a whole as well. So there's a thesis kind of everywhere right now that follower count is basically dead on Shop and that overly polished content actually hurts conversion. Has that changed who you go after and who you ask, the style of content they're making and that they're producing directly on TikTok Shop as a whole?
Yeah, and happy to jump in and chat. Also, hi everyone, it's nice to meet you. For those of you who aren't familiar with Mozi Wash, we sell premium scented laundry detergent. And we've scaled our brand with the help of the folks at Reacher to about 200K in GMV a month. Our product, I would say our average AOV is around $60 on the platform. And so as we think about how we're building content and motivating our creators, it's much harder to sell something that's $60 than it is to sell something that's $10. I would say we think a lot about authenticity in the creators. I think the basics still matter of having good lighting, making sure that they understand the product, but we see that the content that's working isn't just content that's listing off a list of, here are the ingredients and like it's on triple sale, go buy. A lot of it centers around the emotion that comes with the product, whether that's the compliments that they get from the amazing scent that they're wearing, the joy that they get from upgrading their laundry routine. And that those are typically the hooks that work better.
I know we've also done like a pretty big push here, starting, during Deals for You days, leaning into these sampler packs. So how has product assortment kind of shifted from like 2025 looking into 2026? And is this like another key player here as we're continuing to scale up on TikTok Shop?
Yeah, it's a great question. Um, our main product right now is detergent, and building on that base and always having novelty is super important. So we started out with the full size tins of detergent, and we had these in a couple of scents. And we saw these did well. But what's really been working, as Stephen mentioned, is the sampler kit. It comes with these mini bottles. It has a pack of 9. This is the type of content that is a lot easier to go viral. You have a lot of people going through their scent lineup, showing the different colors, talking about the different scents and how they're using it. So I think working with the product team and thinking about how can we package our product in a way or make it more discoverable or create minis or put it in a kitted set that's really easy to consume. And then I would say the other thing, like I mentioned, is novelty. So our goal is to have one new scent release a year. And we're building a roster of limited edition scents so that even when we have a lot of loyalists who like to shop us on TikTok, there's always something new to come back for, and there's something new that's drawing them in.
I love it. And I know like the sampler pack is great from like an LTV play as well. If people don't know, what kind of scent that they want to begin with, they can get the sampler pack, try out all your guys' unique scents, and then it can eventually lead them into those, bigger buys, either they're being bundles or, single bigger packs of those 32 ounces, which is fantastic. And I'm always a big fan of you guys' product assortment and what you guys are currently pushing into. In regards to like incentivization for creators, there's so much going on in the space. Everyone's running, leaderboards, challenges. What do you think kind of sets you guys apart as we're like building into, these incentives that we're running for affiliates and really keeping them engaged with the brand? I know you're building out your community. It's been growing quickly. What would you say is like some of your key factors in this growth from like an affiliate POV and retaining those top affiliates?
Yeah, I think it's really two. I think one is just the money and the earnings potential, and two is the relationship. I'll touch upon each quickly. My job in managing our creators is to make them as much money as possible. I tell them that, and I give them a lot of different ways, whether that's the commission rate on our products, moving them to higher tiers, whether that's our monthly challenges where we offer thousands of dollars in cash bonuses, or one area that we've seen success with lately is whitelisting and bringing their content over to Meta. And for many of our top creators, that's more than doubled their earnings. So I would say that all goes into the bucket of like just if we want them to treat it as a job in terms of making good content, we need to compensate them as as if it's their full-time job. And then the second bucket is the relationship. And I think like I've been hearing a lot from our creators, like, they're working with a ton of different brands. Sometimes it can be pretty transactional, like, hey, go get this sample, like, hey, go make this video. And I do think that getting to know them and building that relationship, like I have creators where I know where they live, I know what their kids' names are. I'm asking about their vacations, I'm kind of just chatting to them and, talking about them, talking with them just like on a human basis. And I think that connection also really helps because at the end of the day, right, if a creator is sitting down and they have 2 hours to film content, you want them to put that 2 hours towards your brand. And if they like you and if they have a relationship, that's going to help.
I love it. I love it. And we see that just by how many of your top creators are constantly coming back and posting that new videos for your brand. I think that personal connection piece is what's still missing from a lot of brand strategy. I had a note though, in regards to like bringing your creators off platform and into Meta, how has that allowed you to scale? Have you seen like a huge uptick in Meta performance, post doing that carryover from TikTok affiliates directly into this media, Meta ads engine beast itself?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely bumped our revenues a lot in the past month. I would say like June and July is really where we've started dipping our toes. We say at Mozi, like, yes, we sell physical goods and we sell laundry detergent, but we are also a content and a media business. And so much of our growth depends on having new ads and new content that is converting and be bringing people in at the right LTV to CAC. Having creators is the best way to do that because as a small team, like we are limited in the number of resources. Our founder can only film oh so many videos a day. And the partnership ads specifically and being able to run ads on our creators' handles has really helped us open up net new audiences. And the whole purpose of those partnership ads is, you know, we're tapping into audiences that we otherwise wouldn't have been able to get from our brand handles. And Reacher has set up a really great system to allow us to do that, where it's almost like one-click partnership ads, where it can import your creator's entire TikTok library and allow you to push that content onto Meta. And that's really been both from a creator earning point of view and also in terms of scaling our business, a really big tactic.
Love it. I love it. I think that's always been this big gap that we've seen between brands is they have all this like plethora of content that they have directly on TikTok and then transferring that over into Meta. It's always interesting to see as well that like maybe a video doesn't do fantastic on TikTok, but as soon as we put it on Meta, audiences changed a little bit and it performs great there. So now they have that earning capability. I know you guys are doing like this rev share type of program for Meta as well, which just gives them that additional opportunity to earn, continuing to want to work with that brand and kind of diversify their overall revenue source. I know we've also gone a little deep into GMV Max here, especially as we're heading into 2026. Is there anything you guys are doing from like a GMV Max POV that's, allow you to scale? Is there any growing pains you're seeing with GMV Max as we're, heading into this net new year?
Yeah, I always think of GMV Max as a bit of a black box. You kind of get two numbers to control, and it's hard to know what goes on under the hood. The principles that I follow, more content the better. We have a very active Spark Codes channel, and so every single day I'm putting new Spark Codes and increasing the content volume. I think of it as the more shots on goal you get, the better you're going to do. All of the standard practices around excluding ads that are under your ROAS target and all of that. TikTok did just launch a new feature last week, I believe, of GMV Max coupons. So again, it's kind of hard to control profitability, and it's hard to know like what coupon it's offering to who. The whole idea is that it's dynamic. We have that turned on right now as a test, and it's boosted our revenues a little bit. One last thing I'll say on ads, more on the partnership ads front on Meta. For us, we have a rule. Our guidance to creators is we need at least 5 pieces of content to get you launched on Meta, and at least 10 pieces of content is recommended as baseline for your best chance of success. We've seen that if a creator just gives us, if we just put one video on Meta, the odds of that it's going to take off are very low. And we want, when we get someone onto a new platform, we want to show them potential and earnings early on. And so that's why we really like to wait until we have that 5 to get them set up as best as possible.
Love it. I love it. Also, I noticed your beautiful background, and I know we've implemented lives as of recently. So I would love to know, like, how has lives kind of diversified, your revenue flow, and how is that done for Mozi in 2026 as a whole?
Yeah, lives have been a huge part of our revenue, both in terms of driving sales, since we offer our best deals during the lives, but also in terms of impressions. There's so many impressions that you get just from people scrolling through and recognizing the live, recognizing the backgrounds. One of the big things that I did when I joined Mozi earlier this year was to build out our live roster. So we have a team of in-house hosts. We have 7 hosts right now that trade off. And I think we do, I would say like 60 to 70 hours a week at least of lives. And it's been a big part in our TikTok growth.
And then also in regards to like live streams itself, how is return from live streams from like a profitability standpoint in comparison to affiliates for you guys?
I would say it's definitely worse. It's a bit easier to scale just because I control the schedule and the number of hours on the calendar. But we pay our hosts both an hourly wage plus a commission, and then I'm also running advertising during the lives. Plus my starting price, my live price is the lowest price that I do on all of TikTok. And so you have kind of downward pressure from your price, and then you have your costs are higher too. So lives are definitely our least productive on a, least profitable channel, but also the highest converting channel.
Very interesting. Are you guys mainly using lives as like a bottom of funnel play or a top of funnel play here?
Um, I would say it's a bit of both. More bottom of funnel, just given that the conversion rate, I think on our lives is like 15 to 20% on lives. And a lot of it is it's the flash sales, it's the discounts. But I've seen this behavior. We have customers that just come and hang out in our lives, and they already have 12 cans of laundry detergent, so they don't need more. But they've built the relationships with our live sellers, and they're like, oh, Ashley's on, Danielle's on, and they like to hang out and just. I think it goes back to that relationship building that I was mentioning with the creators. You can also build that with your customers too, and TikTok's been a great platform to do that.
Love it. I love it. I think we got a question from Laura actually in the chat who said, how do you negotiate that? And I believe it was talking about those partnership ads. So how do you guys currently get access to those partnership ads? I think this rev share model is very interesting. I don't think a lot of people know about this yet. So how do you guys kind of structure those as of current?
Yeah, there's different models. Some brands do percentage of GMV, some brands do percentage of ad spend. At Mozi, we like to do it off percentage of ad spend on Meta. I've also seen, incentives where you can do a one-time bonus for signing up and getting 5 videos uploaded. So very similar to how you're running your affiliate challenges. And then I would say that Reacher has been a great help in that with it's almost like one-click automation where once you have your campaign set up, you can mass email to any creator who's posted content for you and let them know about this new opportunity and get them into the program. So there's, I would say it's the mass outreach, and then obviously for your top creators, there's more of that one-on-one back and forth and messaging about it too.
Fantastic. And then also what have you found like a key commission rate like perspective that you're doing for these like cross channel as of current? Like are you hitting, VIPs get higher commission rates than your normal creators, or is everyone just getting a flat fee across the board?
It's right now we mostly have them at a flat fee of like five. It's mostly like 5 to 10%, I would say.
Very cool. Very interesting. Okay. I think those were like the main questions that I had. Yeah, I think that's it for me.